Yes, what is up, everybody? Happy Friday. Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Network coming at you with another edition off the cuff, man. And like I mentioned earlier, what this show is going to be all about is just coming up and popping off, man, and kind of topics on various sports right off the cuff. You know what I mean? And got one right now for y'all tonight, man. I should be. There we go. I am live. Just checking, make sure my feed is working. You know what I mean? And want to talk about this whole LeBron and Stephen A. beef, bro. You know what I mean? I know there's been some, little hostility, not hostility. I guess you want to call a little bit of butt hurtness from LeBron about Stephen A. Smith calling out his kid. Not really calling out his kid, but kind of doing what Stephen A. Smith does. Stephen A., whether you like him or love him, dude just got a brand new deal, the highest paid ESPN dude out there. Faced got $100 million contract. Before that, he was the highest paid. Now he's still the highest paid in ESPN. So whether you love him or like him, he is a dude that actually moves the needle. He is venturing into a whole bunch of different other options. If you notice, got really a lot more involved in politics. Came out with his own podcast where he's actually shit's blowing up on YouTube, where he's doing just more than sports. He's actually doing politics and, current events and all that kind of crap. So with that being said, let's get cracking over here. Where he's doing just more than sports. So last night, let's dive into it, man. Let's really dive into this. Last night, this clip pops off. See LeBron James, looking kind of hostile. You know what I'm saying? Kind of pissed off. Probably dropping an F-bomb or two. Talking to Stephen A. A little bit of banter here. And that clip went absolutely viral. All right. Went absolutely viral. And then this morning, all of a sudden, kind of knowing that I think you were going to have some issues, kind of knowing that Stephen A. might respond to this, right? Just getting my other stuff here ready to go. Kind of knowing that Stephen A. might respond to this in a show. Stephen A. sends out a tweet before First Take, and he says, "Look, I did not want to discuss this, but I will on First Take." And boom. Now I want to I got the clips, right? Let's go ahead and let me prepare the clips. I want to go through the Stephen A. clip, right? To what he said this morning on First Take. And let's dissect this, right? Let's hit this from the bottom up here. Let's make sure we, just like I did with the whole Tyreek Hill, I want to play it. I want to stop it. I want to react to it live and then give you my take on it, right? As you all know, I'm not a big LeBron James fan when it comes, not the athlete. I think he's a hell of an athlete, second greatest player of all time. But not a fan of his off the court and sometimes entitlement. It's entitlement is what entitlement is. It's what I disagree with LeBron here. So, want to react to this live. Let me play the clip. It's about 5 minutes, and I'm going to pause, give you my take. Kind of just go popping forward here. So here's the LeBron James. Here's Stephen A. Smith this morning doing this thing. Give me 1 second, guys.
That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FC.
Right there. First thing he says is that, LeBron James just came up to me. I was minding my own business. He said certain words that I can't repeat. So right off the bat, we know that it was hostile. It was heated, right? LeBron James came out there and and play the street game. Like LeBron is really that fucking street. This guy's a billionaire. But, LeBron sometimes thinks he's hood, right? When, just stay in your lane, bro.
CC airwaves. That's what he was doing. I thought long and hard about this over the last few hours because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation. But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN and my agent and everybody else were sending me that this thing had gone viral. And so ultimately it was unavoidable, and that is why I have to discuss it now.
Let me stop that here. He wasn't going to discuss it, but he went viral. Okay. It went viral. And, my agent gave me a call. ESPN gave me a call, blah, 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 blah. In other words, I was like, listen, dude, he's trying to play it off like he wasn't going to make it a big deal, but I'm going to go ahead and pop off at the mouth as soon as I get on ESPN. This is going to happen, whether it go viral or not, because they were going to make it viral. So Stephen A. playing the cards, playing what he does. He's he's a journalist slash TV personality who has to move the needle, right? But bullshit. All right, this is going to be a topic. All right, on First Take. As soon as LeBron approached Stephen A. Smith. Let's not get it twisted, boys and girls. Let's not play it off. But hey, it's all theatrics at the end of the day. Let's get back to the clip.
That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, he clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number.
All right. So, hey, I told you, man, he's been doing a lot of interviews with politicians and political broadcasters and Fox News and CNN and The View. So, hey, this is Stephen A. Smith, not the sports guy right now. This is Stephen A., the politician, right? Not I'm saying a politician from a sense that he's going to run for politics because he has no idea. But this is Stephen A.'s, the politician, trying to like, hey, I'm looking good. I'm going to come out here and make it seem like, hey, man, hey, I want to keep all things level-headed. Like, I'm the bigger guy, right? Like LeBron James, a billionaire, superstar, probably second greatest player of all time. I'm not stepping down to his level because I'm the bigger man, regardless of what it is.
Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man. But that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside. Ari Emanuel, the head of William Morris Endeavor, one of the agencies that represents me, along with Larry David, was sitting courtside. I was with them for the game. And he walked right up to me and he said what he had to say. And apparently he feels like I was slighting his son. Now let me tell you what I feel. What I would have said if we were in a different environment, because I was not going to engage in a confrontation at that particular moment in that setting. But if we had had that conversation, I would have said to LeBron James, I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James.
Oh, snap. Nah, let's not get it twisted, dude. Different environment. I mean, Stephen A., bro, you could pop off at your mouth and try to be tough, man, but LeBron James can knock you out like in a matter of seconds, bro. You're not a big dude. All right, I could knock you out probably in a fight, even though you're probably in better shape than I am, but I probably could knock you out, dude. I'm from East New York, bro. I grew up in Brooklyn, man. I know you're from New York too, bro, but I'm from, I'm saying I got street cred. No, I'm busting around. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. But look, he's right. He said he wasn't talking about Bronny. He was talking about you. So this is where LeBron gets a little twisted, right? He likes to make everything about himself, even when the conversation is about himself. He still has to like play the victim and go up to somebody and try to make it sound like, hey, man, I'm trying to defend myself and my family.
I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star. Usually in other sports, we see all stars, and on occasion, we'll see their children become stars as well. That doesn't really happen with the NBA. I sincerely hope he's the exception. By all accounts, he's a wonderful kid. And I don't know anybody who roots against him, and it certainly isn't me. But in the same breath, at the time that we were talking about him, he was percolating to such a degree that the Bronny James stories had gone viral. And so we had to talk about it. And when I said the things that I said, I wasn't talking about Bronny James because my attitude is he's a rookie. It's going to take some time for him to get himself together. He'll be just fine, especially with J.J. Redick and the staff coaching him. I was talking about the position that he was put in by his dad.
And this is something that Stephen A. said on his own show about 4 weeks ago, more or less. Got that clip. We're going to go back to that after we finish digesting this, kind of to break that down. But one thing I do agree with Stephen A. And when this whole Bronny is going to the NBA and got drafted, you could go to my archive. I've voiced very similar sentiments to Stephen A. Smith in my own style, of course, because I'm original. But I said the same thing. Bronny James is just a pawn in this game. LeBron James only is doing this not because he cares about his kid being in the NBA, because we know that kid is nowhere near ready to be in the NBA. He wasn't even ready to be in college, all right, to play at that level. But he did it just to have another LeBron James accolade. Selfish move, sacrificing his kid's well-being from a career standpoint, sacrifices his career, sacrifices probably his mindset, his psychic. This can actually damage Bronny because he ain't never going to be an NBA player based on what we've seen so far. But I agree with Stephen A. Smith. Nobody was criticizing Ronnie. Nobody was going after Ronnie. Everybody was going after LeBron James because of a selfish act. Let's get back to the clip.
Because LeBron James has been on the record, and he has said, and I'll read the quote here. There was a quote that he gave in February of 2024. The work and results will ultimately do talking, no matter what the size. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what mock drafts say. He just works, earned, not given, etc., etc. But he also had said that his son could play on the Lakers right now, and he was better than half the dudes in the NBA. In the aftermath of all of that, he instructed everybody before the draft that y'all want me, draft Bronny. Wherever Bronny is at, that's where I'll be. I'll do whatever it takes to play with my son for a year. It's not about the money at that point. My point months ago was that because of who you are, one of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, in my estimation, there's an immense amount of pressure that comes with that for his son. And when he talked like that and what have you, anything that goes awry as it pertains to his son, there's going to be a microscopic eye, even more intensified, on Bronny James because of his dad and what.
Let me stop that there. He's right. Everything is going to be intensified and focused, and a lot more people know that Bronny got there not because of his own merit, but because of his dad is. LeBron should know this and probably does. And this is where I come in and say that LeBron is a selfish prick for sacrificing his son so he could accomplish another accolade, another something else that Jordan could never have. Because to this day, he is chasing that ghost. He is chasing that demon in Michael Jordan. Yeah. And it's none of Bronny's fault, because Bronny, unfortunately, is not his own man, because he could have said no. I know it's a lot of pressure to say no to the dad. Not saying that LeBron James is a bad dad, because he's been with the same woman, same wife. At this point, shoot, man, NBA players don't last that long. I'll give him credit. He's built a solid home. He's built a good foundation for his kids. His kids look normal as shit, athletes. The little girl is amazing. Another athlete. They don't look like Will Smith's kids, right? Bronny James, Bryce James. I don't know the daughter's name, but they look like a solid family with no fucking like craziness like Will Smith's kids, right? Like all these celebrities and certain Dwayne Wade kids, all right? You know what I'm saying, dude? It's different, right? Not knocking him because he's built a hell of a home, right? And from every matter. But this right here, yes, it's very obvious that it's a look of LeBron James pushing his kid to accomplish something for himself, not for the better of his son, Bronny. Let's finish the clip here.
What his dad had said. And that's when I was talking about, come on, man, this is the situation that you're putting him in. That's where I was coming from. I could be a bit more outspoken about it, but to be quite honest with you, to be in that moment, to have LeBron look at me the way that he did, for me to be a father of two daughters, for me to know how much love fathers have for their children, and to hear what he had to say, it was all about his son. That was LeBron James.
All right, there you go. Now, while I talk here, let me just look, because remember, I don't have a producer. I have to do this myself. Let me look there's another clip. All right, let me find the end of this clip right here. It's like a minute and 43 second. Right here. Hold on a second, boys and girls. Let me just let's go ahead and pop this bad boy right here. All right, let's go to this one here. Let me get this clip going up here before I share it. All right, guys. Here is the ending of the clip. So far, everything Stephen A. Smith has said is valid. I get it. LeBron James is doing what dads would do. I'm a father of two. If I disagree with something, even if I'm wrong, I'm probably going to step up to the dude and defend my kids. However, Stephen A. Smith speaking facts. And he's right. LeBron is taking this as an attack to his son when the criticism is on LeBron James. He's speaking facts. Let me go ahead and play this last minute and 43 second here.
With their podcast and beyond that talk about the NBA. I covered the NBA. And it's my job to talk about the subjects and the subject matters that matter. I work for ESPN. I'm here. We have the #1 morning show for the last 13 years and counting. God has blessed us with that. There's a lot that's going on, and there's a lot of stories that are there to be told. And I just feel it's necessary to remind people, Molly, I was raised as a journalist. Let's be very, very clear about what that means. I'm not one of those that get into people's private affairs. But what you do on a public platform for public consumption, that's what I cover. That's what I do for a living. And if you're in the NBA, that applies to you. I don't want enemies. I live a very good life. I like to make people laugh and smile and have a good time and all of that other stuff. But I also get paid to call it like I see it. And what I said at the time, I stand by what I said. It wasn't even any reporting. The facts were out there. And what I was saying about LeBron is fact-based because of what he said and the things that he said leading up to his son getting drafted and ultimately being in the NBA on the same team as him, as opposed to being a Boston Celtic or a Golden State Warrior. There is no way around that. And when you are born and raised as a journalist, not born and raised, but when you're raised as a journalist professionally, you don't want enemies, but you ain't paid to make friends. You got to call it like you said. But
all right, so he's not wrong. LeBron James is, put this whole situation, all right, of his kid out there a certain way, right? He did this. He put this a certain way, and with that being said, I mean, look, let me just go ahead and let me look at. Hold on a second. Let me get back here. Dave Portnoy posted this earlier. This is a tweet that LeBron James sent almost over 2 years ago. Exactly 2 years ago. Man, Bronny definitely better than some of these cats I've been watching on League Pass today. Shit lightweight hilarious. When you start doing this kind of stuff, kid's not even in the NBA yet. He's barely averaging 4 points a game in college. This is the stuff that starts putting a target on Bronny James right here. This is the start of putting a target on your kid when you're saying this kind of stuff. I get it. You're a proud father. You think Bronny has the ability to be a pro. He may has because he's still very young. Role player at best. But please, you're not even giving him a chance. You're already putting him at the front of the line without even earning anything yet. And of course, it's going to piss people off because you're pissing off half of the league. You know what I mean? So it was a real tweet. This is the start of it. Oh, man. Let me play what Stephen A. Smith said. All right. A few years. This is actually 1 year ago. This whole Bronny stuff started popping off. And this is kind of like the stuff. This is kind of the clip that he's probably referring to. This is a month ago, guys, by the way. He was at a Stephen A's podcast, the straight shooter. Nah, man. Hold on.
I was on First Take, my day job on ESPN earlier this morning, and I spoke about this, and I felt the need to elaborate even further because a couple of people text me and pissed me off, and they know who they are. People close to LeBron James talking to me about questioning him as a father. Come on, y'all. I mean, it's gotten to a point where this LeBron sensitivity is just beyond the pale.
Very, very great analogy there. And great use of words. LeBron James sensitivity. LeBron James sensitivity is not just in basketball, is in the entire effing NBA. And people just bow down to this kind of shit. That's why I don't respect him as a GOAT. Let's proceed with this clip here.
You call him the second best player in the history of the game. You're insulting him because you said he's not the GOAT. You're saying that at age 40, we've never seen anybody do what he does, but pointing out at times how he may not have hustled back on defense in a key pivotal moment, and that's a problem. You give him all the praise in the world when he drops 40, but he has a bad night, and you say he had a bad night, and you're hating. It's ridiculous. But never before has it been more ridiculous than it is right now, because the reality is that we got to be real about what we're seeing when we talk about Bronny James. I am not a person that had a problem with Bronny James being on the court for the season opener with LeBron James. That was,
again, he's clarifying what he said earlier this morning, right? This is a month ago, earlier this morning. He didn't go after Bronny.
a phenomenal moment to see a father on the court with his son who has NBA aspirations playing together for the first time in NBA history. The Griffeys in baseball, Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. were in attendance for it. It was a special moment. My position has always been that should have been the only moment we saw Bronny James in a Lakers uniform this season, because he's not ready. I'm not here to tell you that he won't be ready. I'm not here to tell you that he won't be an NBA player. I'm not here to tell you that he should give up his dreams and his aspirations. I think the kid's got potential. I think the kid will be in the NBA one day. I watched him in the G League doing his thing. I think he's going to be fine eventually.
Role player at best. Bronny would be a role player at best, playing 15 minutes a game. That's the potential. He's not better than Mac McClung. Mac McClung is still in the fucking G League and has won a bunch of awards, MVP, scoring titles, Rookie of the Year, 3-time dunk contest. Skill set is higher than Bronny. Mac McClung is not in the NBA. Yet Bronny is getting playing time in the NBA. If he makes it, it's going to be a role player at best that plays 10 to 15 minutes, and he's going to get opportunities because of who his father is.
But that's not the case yet. And because it's not the case yet, and then you see some of these numbers, I do find myself looking at LeBron James instead of Bronny James. Because LeBron is the basketball savant. LeBron is one of the top 2 greatest players in the history of the game. LeBron has forgotten more basketball than most people would know. So no matter what we think about Bronny, he knows more. But you see what you see. Bronny James has played in 13 NBA games. Ladies and gentlemen, he's averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds. He shot 1 for 16 from the field in his NBA career. And
college, about 4 points a game, shot in the 30s when he played at USC. Wasn't even a starter. He wasn't a top 20 at his position. Not even, I think, top 100 maybe in his position when he came out of high school. Made the McDonald's All-American because his last name is James. I'm adding all that to Stephen A's point here. This is about a month ago. Bryce is a better player. Bryce is probably going to have a better pro career. Let me not digress.
0 for 7 from three-point range. And he's playing in the first quarter of an NBA game? Really? And everybody wants to look at it, and LeBron has nothing to do with that. He didn't tell J.J. Redick to put him in the game. I get all that. But come on. I'm not being cruel to Bronny. I'm looking out. Do you want it this way, LeBron? Do you want it this way, Rich Paul? Do you want it this way? He can't go into the G League and average 20, 25, and stay there until he's ready? Because he's LeBron's son, you know how they're going to judge him. And before anybody wants to jump on me,
I don't think he could average 20 in the G League either. Those guys in the G League probably played 4 years of high school. Some of them are professionals from Europe or outside who are trying to, win a spot, who've been playing tougher competition than Bronny did. Remember, Bronny played in high school and then barely played in college. Bronny's not going to average 20 points in the G League as well. All right.
Remember, I never saw Bronny James play until he showed up in the NBA and the G League. I refused to watch him because if I watched him, I would have to talk about him, and I didn't want to talk about LeBron James' son because I thought it was so unfair to the kid. He's such a wonderful kid. Wonderful family. I was on.
Yeah. Dude, he's not lying. He's not wrong. Nobody's saying that Bronny is a bad kid or, he doesn't deserve this or whatever. I mean, he might be a really hardworking kid. I mean, like I said, the family it's a good family, great structure, but hey, it's legit. It's legit. I don't know if this is true or not. This is true. Man, Bronny definitely better than some of the cats I've been watching on League Pass today. Hilarious. I don't know. This could be Sentinel. I don't know. But if this is the truth, this is the kind of shit you're not supposed to do. This is the kind of stuff you're not supposed to do. In closing, I think Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. I'm not blaming LeBron James or calling him a douche or something because he stepped up to last night to Stephen A. Smith. Right? I'm not in any way being a douche about that, or I'm going to call him out on that. He could do whatever he wants, bro. But Stephen A. Smith is right, and he has all the right in the world as a journalist, as a sports figure who speaks about sports for a living, and all he's doing is reporting what he sees happen. It's all factual. Yes, a little bit opinionated, but it's all factual. Give you credit, man. Stephen A. Smith, man, has really sharpened his tool bag. I guess him diving himself a little bit in politics, just giving his opinion on politics has made him a more target, right? Because, he's a Democrat, but has some conservative values or views, right? Which has pissed off some of the Democrats. Shit, man. He went into The View and did his thing, and went to Bill Maher, did his thing. Has gone to Sean Hannity, done his thing. Was with Candace Owens the other day, did his thing. I mean, he's probably going to end up going to Joe Rogan soon. I mean, I think that $100 million, bro, he earned it this offseason between his own podcast, his own show, and doing all those appearances outside of sports. The credibility is getting a little bigger for Stephen A. Smith. And I think he's starting to break more waves. There's a reason why they kept him and gave him $100 million at ESPN, whether you like Stephen A. or Smith or not. I think the guy's a dumbass sometimes, but hey, he is doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he's eating, all right, at a highest level, doing what all of us wannabes are doing right now and not eating from it at all. It's just love that we do this for. But yeah, man, look, give credit is due. Stephen A. Smith's not wrong, and LeBron James should really stop and think that a lot of this brawny targeting, 90% of it was created by him because he felt he is entitled. I'm going to leave it at that. And before I go, breaking news, Geno Smith and Pete Carroll are reunited at Las Vegas. They the Seattle Seahawks trade Geno Smith for a third-round pick. This only tells me one thing, that Pete Carroll loves Geno Smith more than Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson is not going to be running his offense. Holy smokes. Bam. Geno, man. Geno has had a good resurgence of his career. A lot of it was thanks to Pete Carroll, and I think Geno may have another year left in him. He's going to a scenario where he needs some more weapons because ain't nobody there but a really, really good tight end in Bowers. Crappy offensive line. I mean, they paid also Crosby. I think Crosby's got to try to seduce his boy Devontae Adams to come back, saying, look, we got a real quarterback now. I don't know if Geno Smith is a real quarterback, but he's better than what they've had. O'Connell, Minshew, even Derek Carr when Derek Carr struggled. Weird take here. Weird trade, but hey, it's going to happen. Just wanted to give you guys this feed. That's what I got for you, folks. I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in at another edition, second edition. I introduced this show earlier off the cuff. This is the whole point of this show. When stuff's breaking news like this, like the LeBron James and Stephen A. beef goes up, when I have the time, I want to come on a show that's just go and freestyle this and give you my take, man. Reactions off the cuff, man. That's just no better name for the show that I want to do solo, right? Even though I may have some people on here as well. So appreciate you all, man. Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Network. Signing out, y'all. Peace.
Yo!